Hi, Floss Tube. It's Arlene here. It's Friday, June 21st, the longest day of the year, and I appreciate you being here with me. I was just realizing today as I was on YouTube just how many Floss Tube videos there are. And so, anyone who takes the time to come and watch little old me, well, I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's been a few weeks, but I definitely wanted to come back at this time for a number of reasons. I have lots of little things to share with you, so we'll see how long this goes, but it's like lots of littles, or at least that's how it feels to me. It has been a rainy, yucky week here. Yucky because the rain it has been so humid, not hot, just awful humid with the rain, like 5 days in a row. But the sun has come out. Don't worry, I won't be singing any songs from Annie or any songs from anything right now. The sun is out, and it's supposed to be a nice sunny day tomorrow. So looking forward to any sun we can get at this point. I'm just gonna jump right into the stitching stuff, if you don't mind, and kind of bypass all the personal things, because that's what I think you're here for. And I want to jump in with the most exciting thing for me, and one of the reasons that I knew I wanted to come back around this time, very specifically in the stitching world. I am headed to StitchCon next week, and I knew I wanted to do a video before I went to StitchCon, and that's partially because of this. Have you seen the new Just Cross Stitch issue? This is the one that is labeled August, which is weird in my mind that just when you're like at the beginning of summer, and taking, if you're in a, as I am, in a school year state of mind, and you're having that exhale that is June, to get a magazine that's labeled August. But whatever, this is the cycle they do things in. Have you seen the August issue of Just Cross Stitch? I've posted this in a few places. I was anxious to get this, or anxious to see it, because I knew I had a project in there. I had shared about this back in the late fall, early winter time, that it would be in the July, August issue, and I know you all have tons of things on your mind, and remembering one single post of mine and one single mention in a FlossTube video is not exactly high on your list. But I was shocked. In like the first week of June, there was one day that I was thinking, oh, I think it's around now that they start posting pictures on their Facebook page, just like preview pictures. And I think it's around the time that those who have digital subscriptions get it. And that day that I was thinking about it, I specifically went to their Facebook page, and they had the cover image posted. That's my project, people. I made the cover. Yeah, cover. They had not given me any notice ahead of time. It was just I saw the picture and I dropped dead, so to speak. It was one of those moments that I felt like if I had been having a drink of water or whatever, like I would have spit the water out of my mouth. And then I wanted to share it with those who would care. So this is the main project that at the time I shared with all of you, I had actually two things accepted into this issue. This main project and an ornament. And you can see that this issue has the Christmas ornament preview. And what I'm going to do here is insert a clip that I filmed way back in December and have saved for this moment, that shares a little bit about these projects. So inserting that clip right here. About 35 degrees outside, although it's sunny today. So in that respect, no complaints from this person. But I'm definitely not going to be inserting this clip until mid-June. So it could be like some sticky hot day that you're watching this, which of course makes it odd, but that's just the way it is. So the reason I'm doing this is that as soon as I'm done filming this clip, I need to wrap this stuff up and head over to the post office, because I'm not going to have these items in my hands, but it'll be important to share with you. So a video or two ago, I shared the news that I have some patterns that were accepted to just cross stitch. I have spent the last few weeks stitching. Have not been able to share pictures on Instagram or in a video or anything like that. But I wanted to capture the stitching here in a video, in a clip that I will save until the magazine comes out. So the first part is that I had submitted a pattern for the July-August issue, which I think when it comes out, it'll just be labeled the August issue, 2019 issue, where the theme is summer. I forget sort of the way they put out their proposals for designers to submit design ideas or designs. They put some themes, they put some colors, they put some ideas. I mean, it boils down to, but you could also submit any ideas you want. Who knows what they end up doing to accept. Anyway, so I had submitted a design that was accepted, and this is the stitched piece that you will see in that magazine issue. I think I'm going with summer lace. So the design is absolutely based on a piece of lace, and it might have the look of like a doily. So one of the things that I really wanted to try to play with, which I think I was successful in my what I did here, it's all using DMC white, B5200. I mean, we can talk about the difference between white and B5200. But there are places where I used one strand, places where I used two strands, and places where I used three strands. And just to get the effect. And I love the way it turned out. And I think that is a technique that I might need to play with a little bit more. So this is stitched on 28 count, which is not my favorite. I would always prefer to be smaller / higher count. But that's what you really, in my opinion, need to do in order to do three strands. I mean, you could force three strands on 32 count. I don't think it looks great. You could go to like 25 count and go over two. I've actually never done that. But so 28 count seemed to be the way to go if I wanted to do something like that. So you could probably pretty easily see the places where it's pretty dense is three strands. The very lighter areas, like the filling areas here and here, are one strand. And two strands are sort of where it's in between, like that part there and some of these right there. The chart will be with three different symbols. So, of course, you're not limited to do it like this. You can certainly just pick three different colors. But doing it like this, I was going for the lace effect. I was a little worried when I first started stitching, which I started in the center. It looked very much like a snowflake, which is not the look you want when you're stitching for a summer issue of a magazine. I love this color blue. It's called Dutch blue. It's a Zweigart fabric. So it's a very pretty color to me. And I'll have to remember that for the future when I'm looking for a solid blue. This is just a good one to go with. So there we go. That will be in that issue. Now, it was also exciting that it wasn't just this that was accepted. In the July-August issue / August issue, they also do an ornament preview. Now, somebody here will know, I wondered if there were other issues. Like, do they also do ornament previews in September, October? Or I don't know. But in the July, very specifically in the call for, what do they call it? The call for proposal, whatever they call to designers. They specifically said July, August is a ornament preview time where they want 10 or 12 ornaments. And to have an ornament accepted for that issue, automatically they want an ornament of yours for the Christmas ornament issue for 2019. So I was like, let me give this a shot. So I submitted. So you need to, in order to submit an ornament, you have to submit two designs, and they want them to be complementary, however you want to define that. So I did that. So I submitted two, and they were accepted as well. So I had to stitch those, and those they asked that you finish them. That you finish them on your own. This I'm sending to Just Cross Stitch for them to finish. I have no idea how they're going to finish it. I happen to think it is like perfect for a hoop finish
just because I was stitching it in a hoop and it's just such a nice size. But unless I find out in the exchange of emails that will come as soon as I get this packaged up and email to them, um, it might just be a surprise to me when I open the magazine. I don't know how they've chosen to finish this off, so we'll find out together. But the ornaments, they ask that you finish them yourself. So uh, I've been on a lace kick, you could say. I was looking for inspiration within my lace world, and knowing, of course, that for me, um, so here I am, a summer theme, but I'm also looking at ornaments in the winter theme, lace and snowflakes. Snowflakes have that lacy quality. So I was looking through images of lace with the idea of snowflakes. So this is the ornament that will be in the July-August issue. And I'm calling it, what am I? Silvery Lace Snowflake. Silvery Lace Snowflake. Number one. And the other one's going to be number two. And I think it's coming across. So those cross stitch, and actually it's stitched square. And I just think it looked nicer on the diamond, so I finished it that way. And I think that you can tell, but maybe not, that the cross stitches are Petite Treasure braid in silver. The back stitching is white, and then there's white beads. It's on navy fabric. It's 32 count. It's about, the stitching is about 3 3/4 inches across. And again, I just finished it on a diamond, little pillow finish, just some backing fabric that's got a little sparkle to it, corded cord, done, sew it up. So that will be in the issue as well. And I like the way it turned out. It's, it's to me, I think it's still got the lace look to it, but it also has the connection to being a snowflake look to it as well. So I will be saying goodbye to these pieces and sending them off. And like I said, it'll be like easily 6 months till I'll be inserting this clip in the middle of another floss tube. There you go. So again, had no idea how they were going to finish it, and they put it on a like a round box top. But what I wasn't expecting is they sent it back to me. The last time, the only other time that I had a piece in just cross stitch, I had not gotten the piece back. I don't know what they do with them, and I do need to follow up with this. But this time around, I did get the piece back, which was great. I did not get the ornament back, and I don't know what the rhyme and reason is. But just to share with you, inside, so they sent me this issue, and I got this copy. It seems right around the time that people who get print subscriptions get it, because when I posted on Stitchmania the actual picture of look what came in the mail today kind of thing, a number of people responded, just got mine in the mail. So those who have subscriptions got it around the same time it was mailed to me. And then the ornament, I looked up the pages, but I should have put a sticky note. So the Christmas preview, the ornament preview, there are 9 ornaments, and here's mine down here. And I could just show you if I do this, like, I'll use this, be all covering the pattern here. There we go. And so when the Christmas ornament issue comes out, and I feel like some of you are going to know right away when that comes out, September, October, I will have another ornament in that issue as well. So this was my exciting news. I know that my LNS got copies of this because I saw it earlier this week. I know where I have been where I've seen just cross stitch also, aside from my local needlework store, is in Barnes & Noble. That's in my area. I don't know if anyone else in other areas see it in other places. I've always wondered why a store like Joann's doesn't get it, or Michael's, but they don't. So this made June a pretty exciting month in my world.
So I needed to share that with you right from the top. Then the next exciting thing to share with you, a lot of excitement. There is here. Um, I was sent a gift, a very sweet and amazing gift that came out of the blue. So Chris from Minnesota, I get a small package in the mail, and I was not expecting it other than her asking for my address. But I opened it up and was just floored. Do you see the size of this? This is my hand. What this is the Mary Hogg sampler. Mary Hogg 1830 is a collaboration between McKenna and myself. Dear friend McKenna had purchased this sampler. We worked together to chart it. It is sold exclusively through 1884 Stitchery, so I'll put a link below if you are interested. It's a great sampler in that it's not too big. Now, I say that. This, beautifully, impeccably stitched by Chris. She said she wanted to do it, she did it 30 count over 1. The original sampler that Mary did in 1830 was stitched on a 30 count fabric over 2. And I only printed on the front page because I couldn't find my copy of the pattern sitting somewhere. It's, I want to say 6 by 16 inches or something like that. And Chris stitched this small version so that I would have a model to share. I am just stunned. She did a beautiful job with the hem stitching edge. I love this work, the finishing she's done. It's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous sampler. This may inspire some of you to say, I want to do that, to see it come to life. It's just beautiful. There are a number of people stitching it. I want to say Mary Hogg Sal, but don't quote me on that as a hashtag. McKenna is stitching it, and she was just equally stunned when I shared this with her. Chris, if you're watching, as I wrote to you, there's no words for a gift like this. It's just beautiful. It is just beautiful. And again, I love things done small. I've shared that with you. I'm someone who stitches on 40 count silk gauze when is appropriate. And this was just, what a treasure. I'll just also share with you, because I have it here, the card that came with it, that Chris said her friend makes these beautiful cards. I love the paper arts as well, and this is the kind of thing that just so appeals to me. Everything about this was a treasure, and I just want you to look at it again. This was stitched on, she even sent me a little thing, R&R French vanilla fabric, 30 count, over 1. And it truly is a reproduction to a T. Thank you, Chris. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. The next thing, let me just try and move things out of the way as I go. In my last video, I shared with you about the gift, the pay it forward of Zoe, who had sent me a copy of the Grammar of Ornament, and how I was doing a giveaway with that. And just to streamline things, I pulled a name. So the winner of that is Cynthia Bonds. If you, I'm hoping I remember by the time this is uploaded that I'm going to comment on your comment. But if you email me, worksbyabc@gmail.com, I would love to get this in the mail to you. And I hope you find lots of inspiration from the work of Owen Jones from not quite 150 years ago, but we're coming up on the 150th anniversary. I want to say this is 1870s. No, I take that back. 1856. So yes, over 150 years ago. I hope you find much inspiration. So Cynthia, please be in touch. I would love to get this into your hands. All right, what have I been stitching on? Well, a number of things in the last few weeks, as I realized. I think I'm almost positive I meant to go back and look at my last video, but then I was like, this isn't that important to do it. I think I shared with you that I had just started stitching my logo, and I finished this Works by ABC. This is on a 40 count fabric that's called Silvery Moon. Now, I am fully aware it's showing up and it looks like it's white or off-white. It is actually a very, very pale gray. And I admit, even as I'm looking at it right now, I have to, if I put something white against it, that's real. No, but you can't even tell. So I have not yet done what I intend to do with this, which is use it like on the banner on my website and on my Etsy store and even on my YouTube channel. I haven't gotten to that point, partially because, and I'll say this, I wasn't thrilled with how it turned out, meaning I love this thread. This is Water Lilies, which is a silk called in the color Ink, and I love the color. It's a bluish gray, and it's got a lovely variegation. I love it. But stitched on here, it's too grayish and not enough bluish, and so it almost looks like I don't know. It's not colorful enough to do what I want to do, and I suspect I will restitch it using something else. And I think I even know what thread I'm going to use, and I think I even know what fabric I'm going to use. The idea is there. I need to do this. I want to do this. I want to have a stitched version of my logo to use in places. I have the pattern all ready to go. My first try at it didn't quite do what I wanted it to do, and that's okay. I'll do it. It didn't take that long, and I will do it again. But it's an interesting experience of how you can love a thread. You can love the color of it on the skein, but not. And what it would also be interesting to use this thread on a different fabric, and what I think of it on a different fabric. But how I just didn't love it as it's stitched up, at least on this fabric. Once I finished that, I was kind of going back and forth between things. I started working on, coming back to. This is one of my patterns that I released quite some time ago called 3 Lacy Squares. I saw someone, and I so meant to look you up. She was posting on both Stitch Mania, and I also saw on Instagram, and I'm almost positive it was the same person, who was stitching one of the squares. And I was like, so I had stitched one square, and I have always intended to stitch the other 2. I had ordered the threads. It was all the plan to stitch them 3 in a row. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect. That's what I need to do. So thank you for inspiring me to pick this back up. So I picked it back up. This is as far as, so this was the one, this was the square. Let's see. The one that's in like the burgundy reddish color is the one that I had already had done. And the one that I'm doing now is the one that's in blue. And then the one that will go on the bottom, and yes, it will fit, but there won't be as much margin on the bottom as I might want, is the one that's in green. And then how it will get finished has yet to be determined, but that's okay. The thread, I love the thread that I'm using on this. This is now this is a real gray, or well, you could see how pale, light this is. This is, I forget what this is called, but it's like, whatever. The thread I'm using on this is Medieval Mulberry by Silken Colors. And I find myself needing to play very carefully with the various pieces and the variegation. For example, I was finishing up one skein, and there was a lot of dark. There was a lot of the dark gray to it. And I purposely needed to go into the next skein that, and start alternating pieces of that with the pieces of the dark gray, just to start getting in some of the purpley, because I had a whole bunch of dark gray and not a lot of purpley. Purpley. The purpley colors. Burgundy, maroon, whatever colors we're going to call that. So it's a good, one of the things I love about variegated threads is when you have to when you have to play with them a little bit. And that I'm going to talk about that in my next project also. Now, the reason I had kind of stopped on this, although I will be coming back to it, it's one of the projects I'm going to bring with me to StitchCon, was because I needed to work on and finish a piece that you may have seen depending on which floss tubers you watch, and you may have seen a number of other people show. This is a stitch along that I'm a part of. A group of friends, very important, dear friends to me, had this idea, and so there are a number of us who are all stitching the same pattern, most of us stitching on the same fabric with the same thread with some variations to that. It is a pattern called an emblem of friendship, and the idea is that you then put initials around here. So I needed to get mine stitched up because a number of us are going to be at StitchCon. Not everybody, but at least some of them, and we can start putting initials on each other's pieces. And so once I sort of processed the time involved, I'm like, I have to stop working on the 3 lacy squares and get this. I had started it a little bit and then I'd stopped. What was I working on that I stopped it for? I forget. But I realized I needed to get this done. So the purple thread is a Silks for You. It's my first time using that. The fabric is XJU Designs, first time using that. I love, just as part of this project, I've ended up getting a chance to try both of those that so many people talk about. The thread that I chose for the inside, or the words, excuse me, which is also going to be what I'm going to have my friends use for their initials, is a Karen Collection Water Lilies, isn't it? So it's another Water Lilies. These are all threads that I had in my stash. I just threads that a thread that at some point when I was buying some thread, the colors appealed to me. It's purpley again. It's purple and green with grays as they're going from one to the other. The issue here is that the purple that's in here really kind of clashes with the purple in here. And so I really had to use a very specific part of this thread. Like I had to cut out the purple part, and it was doable. There's definitely, you could see what I'm holding up here is definitely a nice big chunk of gray into the greenish, which is actually the greenish, grayish, it's slightly into lavender, and was without too much difficulty able to use that part of the thread to stitch the words. And that's the thread I'll be handing this part, and as needed, other pieces of that kind, and just not using, like you could see here, maybe you can't. This purple just comes out, it's not going to show up on camera well, but it just comes out not right. I don't know how else to say it. It's just doesn't look right. So I am pleased that I have this finished. There are some people that will be at StitchCon that I'm very much looking forward to seeing again. People that have become very important to me. There are others that I am just, and so yes, I'm referring to some of those that are involved with this project. But let me just take a moment to talk about that. I've been feeling in the last few days a little nervous and overwhelmed by the size of it, with the number of people who are all excited and postings on the Facebook group and so on. And my nervousness is just about how am I going to have quality experiences with everyone that I want to, because there are a number of people that I've interacted with, some of whom I've met at other retreats, but others that I haven't met yet, that I need more than a hi, nice to meet you to feel like it's an interaction. And how it will all be fine. I know it would all be fine. I want to have fun. I want to be able to say that have not like hid myself in a little corner. I want to enjoy myself. I want to meet people. But I also don't want to get overwhelmed and stressed with the whole experience. So if you are watching this and you're headed to StitchCon, I hope you will come over and say hello to me. And we can all acknowledge that we are all on different places on that wavelength of that spectrum of introvert and extrovert. And I am very much more towards the introvert side, but I put on my face as needed. I'm looking forward to a good time. That's what I'm hoping. Just a good time. What am I moving into next? Let me get the stitching and the threads out of the way here so that I don't. Okay. A few weeks ago, I was at Joann's and had not one but two impulse purchases, which is very rare for me. But at Joann's, unlike Michael's, you can use multiple coupons. And it's all about the coupons, people. You know, you don't go to those places without your coupons. So, and I forget now what it was, but I went there for either two or three things that I couldn't even get. But as I was wandering around, I happened to spot this bag. Now, it's meant for knitting. It actually is called a zip-around knitting tote. Do you see the lace pattern? And I looked at this and I just thought I could use this bag to go to my lace group. It could be to carry things. I guess there must be something about knitting yarn that having this this wide opening is a helpful thing. There's no interior pockets. There's no extra outside pockets. It's literally just this. It is only because of the fabric that was used that was just so beautiful that I thought, I have to get this. I posted on a couple of lace sites. If this is something you're interested in, you can find it by searching on Joann's website, Everything Mary. I mean, they have their own website, but if you search on Joann's website, Everything Mary tote or something like that, you should be able to find this. So I know sometimes there are some lace people who watch my videos, and if this is a bag, they have one other item that uses this fabric, and I think it's like again, it's in Knitting World. It wasn't anything that I could in any way find useful for myself, but yeah, my next time I'm at my lace group, I'll be carrying in stuff, books or whatever, using this bag. It's really pretty. If the material was a different type, it'd be really tempting to take it apart and use it to make something else out of it, but it isn't. It's perfect as it. And I love the blue. I mean, the blue with the white lace on it is just perfect. So this was one purchase at Joann's that I was in no way expecting. And the other was a book, because you always check out the books. So I wasn't in the regular book section. I was over by the quilting books, which are separate from the other book section. And I was over there. I was looking at the quilting stuff for a reason. Now I can't even remember why. But I spotted something. And I was like, whoa. Some long video ago, I shared with you about one of I've been to France twice on a group trip with other needleworkers, and I shared with you about boutique. That's how you pronounce this, boutique. It is, well, I mean, you could see quilting designs. Quilting, sure. In French Provençal, am I saying that correctly? It's from the Provence area of France. We went to a museum of this, the Boutique Museum in the Provence area of France. Beautiful, amazing. It's got quite a beautiful history to it. I shared with you the piece that I made. You start out with two pieces of fabric and you sew them together using stitches, and then you stuff it with actually yarn. And I mean, what would I use this for? I don't know, but this was just a little decorative piece that I did. This is my piece of boutique. And when I was done with this, I thought, okay, I've done it. I've honored the trip. I've made a souvenir because this pattern I bought at the Boutique Museum. I didn't know if I'd ever come back to it. Well, I saw this book. And boutique is not something you find much about. And actually, right there is, well, that says Quilts of Provence. And then right underneath it is a book that says The Art of Boutique. And those are like some of the only books in the English language that talk about boutique. So this was just out of the blue. I love this cover image. I think this is so beautiful. Well, it's one of the ones I've bookmarked. If you were to make it, you start with a square that is 25 inches, 25 and a half by 25 and a half inches. When you do the whole process, it makes it much smaller. I mean, this started out much larger than it ends up. They say it ends up being about 21 inches by 21 inches. So it could become like a throw pillow size. Like this could then get attached. It could be like a pillow sham. It could get attached to another piece of a pillow. I just think that that's beautiful. I pointed out a couple other bookmarked this one. Can you see the detail? Can I make it? Can you see the detail on this? And the way you do this is nothing more than small, tiny running stitches. I mean, that's the stitching that you're doing. And talk about just calm, soothing. I mean, you have to draw on the pattern. What did I use to draw on the pattern? Because there's no evidence of. I do not remember, and I haven't read how you're supposed to put the pattern on. I don't think I used one of those like disappearing, products, but maybe I'd have to go back and read what did I do? Oh, wait. Anyway, you draw on the pattern, you stitch, you then stuff. I just think that's gorgeous. It's really tempting if I'm in the mood for something different. But to find a book like this in Joann's, to me, that's like the treasure hunt of Joann's. You find books like this so random. And Joann's lets you use those 40% off coupons on books. Michael's does not. You can't use your coupons on books in Michael's. But in Joann's you can. So this book had a cover price of $22, 40% off. Or I don't know, I feel like that day there might have been one of the coupons was 50% off. So all the patterns are in, white out there. All the patterns are this in a back section. I don't know. I might be tempted. Awfully tempting. Okay, what am I talking about now? Lace, a brief little lace update. Like I did for Stitch Nanigans in Arizona, I wanted to make a plan to bring to bring some bobbin lace with me to StitchCon. It was something that last year when I got there, and those who did recognize me, and no way claiming that everyone recognizes everybody. Please know this. If you are going to StitchCon and you think I'm supposed to know everyone who makes a video, no. I do not know everybody who makes a video. I know I do not have time to go follow links and watch videos. I will know some people and I won't know others, and that is okay. But there's some people who know me and who had asked, did you bring any bobbin lace? And other than like the piece that's in my phone case that here's my phone, and I've shown this before that I have a piece of lace in there. I hadn't brought bobbin lace, but I've figured out a way to do it. And so this is my small travel pillow, and I traveled with it to Arizona, and I'm traveling with it to Cincinnati. So I've got a small bookmark set up. It's not set up to hold vertically. So sorry you can't see much from it, but there's a small bookmark that's set up to go there. What will this bookmark be used for? Well, just a little transition of topics. It's going to become a raffle prize for the New Jersey Floss Tube Retreat, which I've actually been doing a lot of work I've been doing some work on in the last couple of weeks, which is such a joy for me that I'm excited for it. It's going to be the first weekend of August. There's a little over 100 stitchers that are going to be descending on central New Jersey, getting together and having a good time, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So, little bit of bobbin lace to share with you. And then the last couple of things to share with you is a couple of books. Pick this up at the library. I I always like to look in the new book section, just because it's a condensed area of lots of, sure, I like a new books, but I don't need to have like the New York Times bestsellers. It's not that kind of thing. It's just that here's a bunch of books that are all in one area, and it's not like 20 books by the same author. So I will always look over in the 745 area. That's where you get the needle crafts. Inevitably, there's like knitting or quilting or something like that. But sometimes I get surprised with finding something. I love libraries. I've talked about this before. So I saw this book, Craftfulness. Mend Yourself by Making Things. The word craftfulness meaning a play on the word mindfulness. So I picked it up. I just want to share with you the table of contents because it intrigued me. Let's see if I can do this here. Introduction, the Tao of making, or how we realized craft was our therapy. All right, I agree with that. Chapter 1, Craft and Creativity, or the life-changing magic of making things with your hands. Chapter 2, Our Craft Ethos, it's the making that matters. Chapter 3, Craft, Creativity, and Mental Health, Making is Mending. Chapter 4, Go with the Flow, How Craftfulness is a State of Mind. Chapter 5, Getting Over Negativity, or when no becomes maybe and maybe becomes yes. Chapter 6, Making Time and Space, to stretch your imagination and flex your fingers. Now, this is, the crafts they refer to is a lot of everything. One of the authors is a knitter and crocheter. The other author does a lot more with book arts and printing. I think I've got this right. But enough of their words totally connect with anything that I do, certainly. Now, I will also say this. As far as I've gotten into this book, they're preaching to the choir here. Like, I'm totally agreeing with everything they're saying. But what I like about it is that there are mentions of other, like they're talking about scientific research that's being done on creativity, and they're talking about, things that interest me because they're leading me to other sources. They mentioned, I was just reading yesterday, and then they mentioned earlier on a book called The Case for Working with Your Hands. I might go look up that book. I've heard of this book before, Shop Class as Soulcraft, an inquiry into the value of work. Yeah. The making is connecting. Like, will I go and get all of these books out? No, but I like exploring these things. They mentioned a couple of experts on creativity out there, and yeah, I just wanted to share this book with you. Again, for me, they're preaching to the choir. They don't have to convince me of anything. But I'm interested in what they're writing about. I will say, with one big, huge caveat, the way the book is laid out is annoying to me. I can't help this. And let me just show you, like here, I'm just opening up a page. Do you see how the paragraphs are separated by spaces? I just found that bothersome. I don't know why. It just that formatting style just bothered me. I'm pretty sure it's printed in the UK, or is this a US printing of a... No, it's printed in the United States. It's the first US edition, but it was originally published in Britain. But there's something about this formatting that doesn't work for me very well as a reader. I'm just putting that out there. It just, when there's other parts where they're quoting, like here's a part where they're quoting something else, and it just doesn't stand out in the same way that they would quote, I don't know. There's plenty of places that if this was my own copy of the book, I feel like I'd want to be highlighting or underlining, and I'd want to have a whole floss tube where I'd be reading quotes to you, and then I'm thinking, but anyone who's watching this video doesn't need the quotes from here read to them. They get it. You get it. You get the importance of working with your hands. But it's interesting. It does say this. We should get this out of the way. Craftfulness is not a crafting book. Rather, it is an investigation of the wisdom generations of men and women know to be true. Making things is a vital means of self expression, self realization, and self help that sparks the mind, touches the soul, and rejuvenates the spirit. How many of us have our spirits rejuvenated because of the work we do? And the work we do, meaning the stitching we do. That's what I'm referring to. So I just put this out there. The authors are Rosemary Davidson and Arzo Tassin. If you are interested, I have not yet finished it. But a book I have finished, and I feel like I have seen one or two Floss tubers talking about this book. I've definitely seen some posted on Instagram about it. I was on the waiting list, so I was glad it finally came, and I need to get it returned. It's called The Gown by Jennifer Robson. And it is about the gown in the book is Elizabeth II's wedding gown in 1947. The book is about the embroiderers, or two of them. It's historical fiction, heavy on the fiction. Okay, this is not a true story of the actual embroiderers. There is very little. I loved reading the afterwards, and I don't want to give anything away, but it bounces back and forth in time between 1947 and 2016, where the granddaughter of one of the characters from 1947 is doing an exploration of who her grandmother really was. But her grandmother and others in 1947 were embroidering, and this picture just doesn't do it justice, the amazing details that were on Elizabeth II's gown. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, you might enjoy this book. I just wanted to share that with you. I enjoyed it. It's not like, oh my God, the best book of the year and you have to go read it, but it was an enjoyable read, and part of that enjoyment was because of the stitching connection in it. So there you go. Big thing in front of me is traveling to Cincinnati and getting to StitchCon, and some big hugs with some important people, and some hello and some great to meet you hugs, and all of that with lots of others, and looking forward to a wonderful experience. Thank you to everyone who has given me so much positive feedback with the Just Cross Stitch. That post on Stitch Mania has been overwhelmingly, the feedback on that was just amazing. Thank you all. It's just, I'm just taking the moment to be incredibly grateful, because I am. And I'll repeat what I started with. I just consciously aware how many choices you have of people to watch here on YouTube, on FlossTube, and I just so appreciate everyone who's stopping by for a visit today. This is just such a wonderful community. You all mean a great deal. Thank you all for being supportive of me in personal and in professional life, in my Works by ABC. I don't do a good job promoting myself, but Works by ABC, my Etsy store, I'm continuing to offer free shipping through the end of June, through June 30th. So I'll put a link to that below if you are interested in taking advantage. Thank you to those who have purchased, especially my new patterns that I came out with just a few weeks ago. They have been good sellers on Hoffman already, which has just been amazing to me that the two of them, the first selling, or the first shipment that I sent to Hoffman, were sold out overnight. And I had to send Hoffman a second shipment right away, which is pretty cool. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for caring. I think when this community cares about one another, that's when we see it in its best. So take care of one another. Till next time.